Can a 50-year-old napkin save the economy again? Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to navigate these turbulent times. A half-century ago, at a Washington, D.C. restaurant, Art Laffer, a young economist, and Jude Wanniski, a Wall Street Journal editorial writer, had dinner with two key White House staffers of President Gerald Ford. The duo's goal? Persuade the troubled Ford administration to push cuts in tax rates to help rev up an economy mired in recession and inflation. Many economists at the time, as all too many do today, thought prosperity caused inflation. Their solution, which the Ford administration had embraced, was to raise taxes to soak up what was labeled excess purchasing power. Laffer and Wanniski thought the idea of raising taxes was destructively stupid. High tax rates wouldn't raise the anticipated revenue, and it would hurt the economy. The heavier the tax burden on productive work, risk-taking, and success, the less the economy would experience those good things. The result? A weaker economy. To illustrate his point that raising tax rates was counterproductive, Art Laffer took a napkin and drew what looked like an upside-down U that illustrated the relationship between tax rates and tax revenue. This was the birth of the Laffer Curve. There comes a point when tax rates become counterproductive in raising revenue. The Ford administration, however, remained unconvinced and was turned out of office. But Ronald Reagan became a believer. The Laffer Curve was the basis of President Reagan's enormous cuts in both individual and corporate tax rates during the 1980s. The top personal rate, for instance, went down from 70% to 28%. These reductions, combined with the conquest of the terrible inflation of the 1970s and early 1980s, plus deregulation, had positively explosive results. The American economy boomed. The growth itself from 1983 to 1989 exceeded the entire size of the West German economy, then the third largest in the world. The American success led to 50 other countries following our lead in cutting their tax rates. The global economy expanded enormously for the rest of the 20th century. Before Reagan's Laffer-esque tax cuts and Laffer's strong advocacy of a stable dollar, the U.S. was seen as a declining power during the inflationary and stagnant 1970s. The Soviet Union looked to be the ascending power. The Western free enterprise seemed discredited. Things changed, and how? The Soviet Union collapsed. The U.S. and the free world won the Cold War. Unfortunately, governments forgot the formula for prosperity. One exception was the first Trump administration. Art Laffer helped design President Trump's 2017 tax cuts. The U.S. economy, which had been sluggish after the 2008 financial crisis, was soon purring again. Then the pandemic hit, followed by President Biden's tsunami of spending and suffocating regulations. A key piece of President Trump's second-term goal to really rev up the American economy is the tax bill Congress is grappling with now. Unfortunately, some Republicans have forgotten or never knew the Laffer Curve. The bill has nothing on cutting the capital gains tax, even though this would simultaneously boost the stock market and instantly raise revenue for Uncle Sam. Blue state representatives demand expanding or eliminating caps on deductions for state and local taxes, the so-called SALT. Instead, they and the rest of the GOP should go for sharply cutting personal tax rates, the way Ronald Reagan did. Ditto corporate tax rates. Hopefully, the White House will end up using tariffs, Laffer-like, as a tool for reducing trade barriers, rather than imposing a new tax on the American people. A napkin saved us once, and for the sake of us all, may the GOP be guided by it again. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions, and look forward to being with you soon again.